Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. Produce as a result or residue. Issue or terminate, in a specified way, state, etc., end. Result in tragedy. A statement that solves a problem or explains how to solve the problem. He computed the result to 4 decimal places. The semantic role of the noun phrase whose referent exists only by virtue of the activity denoted by the verb in the clause. Something that results. He listened for the results on the radio. Come about or follow as a consequence. Nothing will result from this meeting. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. His decision had depressing consequences for business. Having important effects or influence. Decisions of great consequence are made by the president himself. The outcome of an event especially is relative to an individual. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The magnetic effect was greater when the rod was lengthwise. Of a law, having legal validity. The law is still in effect. Produce. The central meaning or theme of a speech or literary work. An outward appearance. She retained that bold effect in her reproductions of the original painting. Act so as to bring into existence. Effect a change. An impression, especially one that is artificial or contrived. He just did it for effect. A symptom caused by an illness or a drug. The effects of sleep loss. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. He acted very wise after the event. A special set of circumstances. In that event, the first possibility is excluded. A phenomenon located at a single point in spacetime, the fundamental observational entity in relativity theory. Something that happens at a given place and time. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Circulate or distribute or equip with. Issue a new uniform to the children. Come out of. Water issued from the hole in the wall. The act of issuing printed materials. One of a series published periodically. She found an old issue of the magazine in her dentist's waiting room. An opening that permits escape or release. The canyon had only one issue. The becoming visible. Prepare an issue for public distribution or sale. Supplies, as food or clothing or ammunition, issued by the government. The immediate descendants of a person. He died without issue. The act of providing an item for general use or for official purposes, usually in quantity. A new issue of stamps. Make out an issue. Some situation or event that is thought about. An important question that is in dispute and must be settled. The issue could be settled by requiring public education for everyone. Bring out an official document, such as a warrant. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. Something that results. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. Be in charge of. The introductory section of a story. It was an amusing lead-in to a very serious matter. Take somebody somewhere. We lead him to our chief. Produce as a result or residue. Be conducive to. The use of computers in the classroom lead to better writing. Lead, as in the performance of a composition. A jumper that consists of a short piece of wire. It was a tangle of jumper cables and clip leads. A news story of major importance. Travel in front of. Go in advance of others. Lead, extend, or afford access. Move ahead of others, in time or space. Preside over. A soft, heavy, toxic, malleable metallic element. Bluish-white when freshly cut but tarnishes readily to dull gray. The children were playing with lead soldiers. Cause something to pass or lead somewhere. Stretch out over a distance, space, time, or scope. Run or extend between 2 points or beyond a certain point. Be ahead of others. Be the first. An actor who plays a principal role. Evidence pointing to a possible solution. The police are following a promising lead. Thin strip of metal used to separate lines of type in printing. Restraint consisting of a rope, or light chain, used to restrain an animal. The timing of ignition relative to the position of the piston in an internal combustion engine. An indication of potential opportunity. A good lead for a job. Mixture of graphite with clay in different degrees of hardness. The marking substance in a pencil. An advantage held by a competitor in a race. He took the lead at the last turn. A position of being the initiator of something and an example that others will follow, especially in the phrase, take the lead. He takes the lead in any group. Baseball. The position taken by a base runner preparing to advance to the next base. He took a long lead off first. Cause to undertake a certain action. Sports. The score by which a team or individual is winning. Tend to or result in. This remark lead to further arguments among the guests. The angle between the direction a gun is aimed and the position of a moving target, correcting for the flight time of the missile. The playing of a card to start a trick in bridge. The lead was in the dummy. Leave unchanged or undisturbed or refrain from taking. Leave it as is. Remove oneself from an association with or participation in. She wants to leave. Leave behind unintentionally. Produce as a result or residue. Transmit, knowledge or skills. Leave your name and address here. Put into the care or protection of someone. Leave your child in the nurse's care. Move out of or depart from. Leave the room. The period of time during which you were absent from work or duty. A 10 days leave to visit his mother. Be survived by after one's death. The act of departing politely. He took his leave. Go away from a place. At what time does your train leave? Leave or give by will after one's death. make a possibility or provide opportunity for, permit to be attainable or cause to remain. This leaves no room for improvement. Act or be so as to become in a specified state. Go and leave behind, either intentionally or by neglect or forgetfulness. Have left or have as a remainder. 19 minus 8 leaves 11. Permission to do something. She was granted leave to speak. Issue or terminate, in a specified way, state, etc., end. React verbally. She didn't want to answer. Be sufficient. Be adequate, either in quality or quantity. A few words would answer. A statement that solves a problem or explains how to solve the problem. The answers were in the back of the book. A statement, either spoken or written, that is made to reply to a question or request or criticism or accusation. I waited several days for his answer. Understand the meaning of. The question concerning the meaning of life cannot be answered. A nonverbal reaction. His answer to any problem was to get drunk. Be liable or accountable. She must answer for her actions. Be satisfactory for. Meet the requirements of or serve the purpose of. This may answer her needs. Give a defense or refutation of a charge, or in an argument. The defendant answered to all the charges of the prosecution. Give the correct answer or solution to. Answer a question. Match or correspond. The drawing of the suspect answers to the description the victim gave. React to a stimulus or command. The steering of my new car answers to the slightest touch. Respond to a signal. Answer the door. The principal pleading by the defendant in response to plaintiff's complaint. In criminal law it consists of the defendant's plea of guilty, or not guilty, or nolo contendere. In civil law it must contain denials of all allegations in the plaintiff's complaint that the defendant hopes to controvert, and it can contain affirmative defenses or counterclaims. The speech act of replying to a question. The trait of being resolute. It was his unshakable resolution to finish the work. Analysis into clear-cut components. A formal expression by a meeting. Agreed to by a vote. A statement that solves a problem or explains how to solve the problem. Finding a solution to a problem. The ability of a microscope or telescope to measure the angular separation of images that are close together. Something settled or resolved. The outcome of decision-making. They never did achieve a final resolution of their differences. A decision to do something or to behave in a certain manner. He always wrote down his New Year's resolutions. Computer science. The number of pixels per square inch on a computer-generated display. The greater the resolution, the better the picture. Music. A dissonant chord is followed by a consonant chord. The subsidence of swelling or other signs of inflammation, especially in a lung. A statement that solves a problem or explains how to solve the problem. They were trying to find a peaceful solution. The set of values that give a true statement when substituted into an equation. A homogeneous mixture of two or more substances, frequently, but not necessarily, a liquid solution. He used a solution of peroxide and water. A method for solving a problem. The easy solution is to look it up in the handbook. The successful action of solving a problem. The solution took 3 hours. A liquid substance capable of dissolving other substances. The solvent does not change its state in forming a solution. A statement that solves a problem or explains how to solve the problem. Capable of meeting financial obligations. The semantic role of the noun phrase whose referent exists only by virtue of the activity denoted by the verb in the clause. Something that results. The final point in a process. Occurring with or following as a consequence. The resultant savings were considerable. A vector that is the sum of two or more other vectors. Something that results. The end of a word, a suffix or inflectional ending or final morpheme. The act of ending something. The termination of the agreement. A coming to an end of a contract period. A place where something ends or is complete. Something that results. Any state or process known through the senses rather than by intuition or reasoning. A remarkable development. Cause to happen, occur or exist. Come to have or undergo a change of physical features and attributes. Bring out for display. The proud father produced many pictures of his baby. Cause to happen, occur or exist. This procedure produces a curious effect. Fresh fruits and vegetable grown for the market. Bring onto the market or release. Produce a movie. Bring forth or yield. The tree would not produce fruit. Cultivate by growing, often involving improvements by means of agricultural techniques. The Bordeaux region produces great red wines. Create or manufacture a man-made product. We produce more cars than we can sell. Cause to happen, occur or exist. The new president must bring about a change in the healthcare system. Cause to move into the opposite direction. Get up and out of bed. Bring forth. Put out or expel from a place. Be shown or be found to be. Turn outward. Result or end. How will the game turn out? Cause to stop operating by disengaging a switch. Turn out the lights. Come and gather for a public event. Come, usually in answer to an invitation or summons. Outfit or equip, as with accessories. Produce quickly or regularly, usually with machinery. Prove to be in the result or end. Find by digging in the ground. Discover the location of. Determine the place of. Find by searching or examining. Be shown or be found to be. Bend or lay so that one part covers the other. Turn up your collar. Appear or become visible. Make a showing. Provide evidence for. Cause to puff up with a leaven. Increase in volume. Be shown or be found to be. She proved to be right. Put to the test, as for its quality, or give experimental use to. Establish the validity of something, as by an example, explanation or experiment. Obtain probate of. Prove a will. Prove formally. Demonstrate by a mathematical, formal proof. Take a trial impression of. Computer science. A line of code written as part of a computer program. A fact or assertion offered as evidence that something is true. A document showing credits and debits. The act of affirming or asserting or stating something. A message that is stated or declared. A communication, oral or written, setting forth particulars or facts, etc. According to his statement, he was in London on that day. A nonverbal message. A Cadillac makes a statement about who you are. Music, the presentation of a musical theme. The initial statement of the sonata. Linguistics, the underlying relation that a constituent has with the main verb in a clause. Linguistics, the underlying relation that a constituent has with the main verb in a clause. Event whose occurrence ends something. The proposition arrived at by logical reasoning, such as the proposition that must follow from the major and minor premises of a syllogism. The act of making up your mind about something. He drew his conclusions quickly. A position or opinion or judgment reached after consideration. His conclusion took the evidence into account. The act of ending something. The last section of a communication. In conclusion, I want to say. The temporal end, the concluding time. A final settlement. The conclusion of a business deal. An intuitive assumption. Jump to a conclusion. Event whose occurrence ends something. His death marked the ending of an era. The end of a word, a suffix or inflectional ending or final morpheme. I don't like words that have ism as an ending. The act of ending something. The last section of a communication. The point in time at which something ends. The ending of warranty period. A decorative texture or appearance of a surface, or the substance that gives it that appearance. The boat had a metallic finish. Event whose occurrence ends something. When these final episodes are broadcast, it will be the finish of the show. Finish eating all the food on one's plate or on the table. Finally, be or do something. The temporal end, the concluding time. The market was up at the finish. A highly developed state of perfection, having a flawless or impeccable quality. Almost an inspiration which gives to all work that finish which is almost art. Have an end, in a temporal, spatial, or quantitative sense, either spatial or metaphorical. The act of finishing. His best finish in a major tournament was third. Come or bring to a finish or an end. He finished the dishes. The place designated as the end, as of a race or journey. A crowd assembled at the finish. Cause to finish a relationship with somebody. That finished me with Mary. Designated event that concludes a contest, especially a race. Excitement grew as the finish neared. Provide with a finish. The carpenter finished the table beautifully. The downfall of someone, as of persons on one side of a conflict. Booze will be the finish of him. Wine tasting. the taste of a wine on the back of the tongue, as it is swallowed. The wine has a nutty flavor and a pleasant finish.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.